Okay, Matrix, what about double angles? Let's have a look at some examples involving double angles here. Let's take a nice one. What if I said to you, simplify without using a calculator 2 sine 15 cos of 15? How would you do that without using a calculator? Okay, well, what we could do here is, well, we see 15, I wouldn't want to do what I did in the previous lesson, like, say, for example, 45 minus 30, it'll be too messy. But notice there's a formula. If you think of sine 2a, if you look, the double angle formula for that is 2 sine a cos a. That's what it is. Or if you reverse it, you could say 2 sine a cos a is actually the sine of 2a. So you could say that. Now, look at this. If I let this be a, okay, that angle 15 be a, I can make that 15, I can make that 15, which means that the right side is 15. So watch this. 2 sine a, or 2 sine 15 cos 15, is then the same as sine 2 multiplied by 15, which is the sine of 30. So you've got yourself a special angle there. Sine of 30 is a half. Okay, remember, you can either use your special angle triangles, or if you want to, you can be naughty and use that calculator. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse from earlier years. Opposite over hypotenuse is a half. But isn't that amazing? This formula that you get on your formula sheet that's a double angle can be used. Okay, let's pursue another one. Number B, I'm loving this. Okay, what about this? Cos squared 15 minus sine squared 15. By the way, if that was plus, cos squared plus sine squared is 1, if you remember. But now we're using minus. So what is that going to give us here? If we're going to have cos squared minus sine squared. But now remember, let me just write this down. The formulas for cos 2a, there are 3 of them. The one is this one, cos squared minus sine squared. The other is 2 cos squared a minus 1. And the other one is 1 minus 2 sine squared a. So if you look at this guy, that looks as if we could use that formula for here. Okay, if we think of 15 as a, then cos squared 15 minus sine squared 15 is cos 2 times 15. So let's have a look at that. So if you think about cos squared 15 minus sine squared 15, okay, that is the same as cos 2 times a. See that there, cos squared minus sine squared is sine 2a. You're just working, is cos 2a. Cos squared minus sine squared is cos 2a. You're reversing backwards there. Okay, which of course is the cos of 30. And if we use our little special angles from grade 10, let's see what we get. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is root 3 over 2. Of course, you can cheat in the calculator if you want to and check your answer. Okay, so that's quite a nice little one. What about the other formulas for, let's have a look at them. Let's see if we've got number C. Okay, what about 1 minus 2 sine squared 15? Okay, this, well, okay, easy. This looks like that's A there. I think this is going to be cos 2 times 15 again, which is cos 30, which is root 3 over 2. Let's just check that. Okay, how did we get that? 1 minus 2 sine squared A. Look here. 1 minus 2 sine squared A. That gives you cos 2. There's 3 of them that you can possibly use. Okay. Alright, now this one, what about number D? Have a look at this here. 2 cos squared 20. None of that, it's not really very special. Divided by sine of 50. Okay, well this top one looks like a 2 cos squared a minus 1, which is cos 2a. Look at that. If you go back and check cos, look at that. There we go. We've used up the third formula now. 2 cos squared a minus 1. Okay, and if you look at that, so this becomes equal to cos 2 times 20 degrees. Sine 50 I'm going to really leave. There's not much I can do with that at the moment. Then you get here, this is equal to cos of 40 over sine of 50. Now, remember you're not allowed to use a calculator, but you remember the rules. If these two add up to 90, you can pick one of them and you can use the cofunction rule. So here's a bit of revision of grade 11. So 40 is the same as 90 minus 40. Okay, or 90 minus 50 rather. There we go. 90 minus 50 is 40. There we go. And then we divide by the sine of 50 degrees. Oh, having a bad day with all this writing. So let's go here. Sine of 50. Okay. Now what do we know? This comes to the cos of 90 minus 50 becomes the sine of 50. Okay, this one is the sine of 50. Remember cos of 90 minus theta is the sine of theta. That's very important grade 11 stuff. Divided by the sine of 50. Okay, what's that? That comes to 1. Okay, very important, this the cos of 90 minus, and be careful of things like cos of 90 plus. That you can always check that in the grade 11 lessons as well. Okay, but be careful with that. Now, let's do a really big challenge. Have a look at this number e. This is going to be a killer. Okay, I'm going to take sine, and I've got sine 44. Okay, then cos of an angle bigger than 360. Bit of revision of your grade 11 stuff here. Cos of negative 44. Okay, if you are stuck with these grade 11 things, I would suggest you go back to and find the trigonometry in the grade 11 lessons and really work on that, because this will help you to just focus you on the reduction rules and angles bigger than 360 and that. Okay, so have a look at this. Well, sine 44 I'm going to leave at the moment. Okay, so sine 44 I'm going to leave. Now cos 740, what the trick in grade 11, if it's bigger than 360, what you do is you're going to say 740 and you're going to subtract 360. Okay, and you keep subtracting until it works, so until it gets down. So if you look at this here, what is that going to give us there? If we borrow one, that's 80, that's 380 there, and then it's still too big, so let's subtract another 360 and we get down to 20. So this can be written as that. Okay, we make that degree look prettier. There we go. Okay, now the cos of a negative is going to be positive, so we can write that as cos 44. But now be very careful with this. The sign of a negative is negative sign, so in brackets I'm going to write negative sine 20 there. Okay, very important there, negative sine 20. And if we just erase this calculation quickly, remember, keep the use of brackets is so important in this game. Okay, and then we're dividing this mess by sine 168. Well, there we can actually just go 180 minus and reduce, and that'll be probably minus 12, yeah, and then cos 12 there. Okay, cool. Alright, so then that equals the sine of 44, cos of 20 looks like a sort of a compound angle. Plus times a minus is a minus, the cos of 44 and the sine of 20. Okay. This is wonderful. This is the second quadrant, so sine reduces to sine 12 positive, and then we have the cos of 12. Okay. Now, this is wonderful. Sine, cos minus cos sine. Check that if that's a sine A, cos B, cos A, sine B. So that becomes the sine of A minus B. Okay. Very important. That is a rule, the compound angle formulas. Sine 12, well, let's leave him alone. Not much you can do there. Okay. And then what is the sine of 44 minus 20? That becomes the sine of 24. Okay. Divided by sine 12 and cos 12 degrees. Now your problem is that these two don't add up to 90, so we can't use the grade 11 cofunction rules. So, but what do we know? 24 is double 12, so we could write this 24 as a double angle. Look at that. 2 times 12. Look at that. That's beautiful. So it's 2 times 12 divided by the sine of 12 cos 12. Lovely linkage question here. And then what we can then do is we can say, well, sine, what is sine 2a? Well, if you remember, it's 2 sine A cos A. So you can express that as sine 2a is 2 sine A cos A there. All divided by the sine of 12 and the cos of 12. Okay. So those all cancel and we left with 2. Okay, guys, I hope you really got that. That's a typical exam question that they can ask you in an exam.